My colleagues have put together segments on how to read a textbook and how to do concept mapping, which I find very, very useful. There is one thing that both of those techniques share, at least one thing, and that is that they are individual endeavors. They're things that you do on your own. Learning is work, and it's your work. Your instructor can and wants to help you learn, but you are in the driver's seat. Now, I want to explore this metaphor a little bit more. You are in the driver's seat. The instructor has designed the roadway upon which you travel and your destination. But there's a slow lane and a fast lane, and both lanes get to your destination. There are students who have different cars, that is, cars with different abilities, and students with different levels of driving experience, talents, and skills. And sometimes the roadways that your instructors have you travel are straight lines. Sometimes they're not. They're curvy. Sometimes they are hilly, or the pavement is slick, or the roadway is gravel and bumpy. Not every driver nor every car is designed for every situation. So no matter your current comfort in driving, and in this metaphor, I'm talking about learning, your comfort in learning, you are going to encounter some academic challenge. And that's wonderful. I'm not kidding. Challenge and growth is what you've come to college for. From here on out, I'm going to give you a lot of advice. You need not take all of it. If you've got a system for learning and wellness that works for you, you needn't change a thing. However, if I had a penny for every student that said to me, Dr. Kellam, I didn't have to study in high school, then I'd be kind of a rich fella. You're going to need to study in college more than you ever did in high school. And some of you might not really know how to do it. You are in the driver's seat. Take control. If you are not traveling along the route as fast as you would like, then make some adjustments that allow you to press the accelerator a bit. And here's some ways to do it. First, let's talk about memorization. Memorization is not true learning. You quickly forget what you put into short-term memory unless you build a network of synapses that make use of the information. So yes, you can start with memorization, but that's just a starting point and not the end. Assemble a concept map. And once you've done that, now what? Well, to study it, do you just stare at it and hope that it all sinks into your brain? The mental process that you used to construct the concept map is the initial step to studying. Once that map is constructed, you need to reinforce it. Take each word or phrase on the concept map and put each on a flashcard. Then shuffle the flashcards and draw two at random. Your challenge then is to verbally, out loud, connect the two flashcards to each other. This process makes use of the new synapses you formed when you created the concept map. This neural reinforcement is what leads to true learning. Drawing to learn is another study skill. So take a figure from the textbook and attempt to reproduce it. Now, I don't mean trace it with your pencil and paper. I mean examine the picture and try and replicate it. Examine, look at, see how all the different little parts in the figure are related to one another, how they are labeled by the artist that drew the figure, and try and do the same thing in your drawing. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and so as you are drawing this picture, or redrawing it I should say, talk to yourself out loud about what the little parts are that you are drawing and how they're related to their neighboring parts. Not only what the parts are, but what they do, the functions of these little parts. And if you can't answer the questions of what is it and why is it there and what is it doing, then go back to the text or maybe a study partner and try and figure it out. You are in the driver's seat. I want to pause and point something out about studying. It's going to be most effective if you do it in more than one way. You've read your textbook and you've reviewed your notes from class. That's reading. You've made flashcards and concept maps. That's writing. I've also mentioned the pictures, studying the figures from your textbook. That's ideas explored in 2 or 3 dimensions. I also mentioned a couple times in this video that you should describe the textbook figure with spoken words, or describe your concept map with spoken words. That's using auditory pathways. Reading, writing, pictures, and sound, 4 different ways to reinforce an idea and help you learn it. It's entirely possible that with all this studying, you might start feeling overwhelmed. If that's the case, welcome to life, and it's completely normal to feel overwhelmed. But still, it's uncomfortable to be in that position. If you're going too fast in your car, then you very well could not navigate all the curves, and you'd run off the road and you'd get stuck in mud, and that's not going to help. So if in your learning process you're going too fast, you could veer off the road and get stuck. So let me be more clear. Get rid of this metaphor, all right? You need to take care of yourself. And this is called wellness. The World Health Organization defines wellness as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So again, I've stopped my car here because I am sort of fatigued with the learning process. I've studied for hours and hours and hours, and I need a break. I need to get out of this car. I need to be concerned about my wellness, my physical and mental health. And if you need a break, take one. Not weeks long, not days long, but a few hours is really powerful and important. You can't learn well if you are stressed out too much. Scientists have done lots of studies on this. Students learn best when they are under a medium amount of stress. For this reason, instructors push you a little bit. We have high expectations for you because we want to stress you out a little bit, but too much stress isn't good for your education, and it's not good for your physical or mental health. So if you feel overwhelmed with biology or anything else, here's some wellness advice. Number 1, put your phone away while you study. You might think you can multitask. There are lots of studies that show that humans are terrible at it. For example, have you ever been behind a driver on the highway that's weaving around, can't stay in their lane, they kind of slow down and then speed up kind of at random? Well, they're either drunk or distracted, and in scientific studies, there isn't much difference between those 2 states. So you trying to study while you are distracted, it's as if you're trying to study while you're drunk, and that's not going to work very well. Indeed, being tired behind the wheel is about the same as being drunk. So when it comes time to study and you are tired, nope, that's not going to work either. Go to bed and wake up at about the same time each day. Say no to late parties or events, even on weekends. I know this is a lot to ask, but if you want to improve your sleep, this is what you've got to do. Also, caffeine. Limit caffeine intake within 6 hours of going to sleep. It's going to impact your ability to fall asleep. I'm going to stop here and explain why I'm in the cemetery. I don't have any meaning about the cemetery. It's just that there's a lot of construction going on campus, and this is the only quiet spot I can find outdoors. And I want to be outdoors because I'm trying to show you what you need to do when you need a break. Go for a walk. I've posted a link to better sleep hygiene. Again, if you've got great sleeping habits, you can look over them and say, yeah, I'm doing those things. But if you want to improve, just choose one and work on it. A second way to improve or concentrate on wellness is to examine your diet. In general biology, you will learn about the structure and function of biomolecules. These include proteins, lipids, carbohydrates. You're going to learn that every cell in your body contains these. And where do you think they come from? They come from your diet. You are literally what you eat. It's not just a cute little saying that people say. It's actually true. Are you getting a good balance of these biomolecules? Let's talk about protein. Protein is not just necessary for, muscular performance and strength. You need protein for immune function. You need it for hormone function. You need it for cellular repair, growth. Everything that your cells do requires protein. Enzymes are proteins. And you're going to learn in class how important enzymes are to cellular metabolism. At this point, I want you to stop the video and look at a short section of the textbook that I've provided. As you read that short section, focus on the word enzyme. I actually want you to count the number of times that you find the word enzyme on that page. And each time that an enzyme is mentioned, look and see what that enzyme is doing, what the textbook says the enzymes are doing. One of the instances where the word enzyme shows up is in the section under the heading, cells utilize enzyme-facilitated redox reactions to take energy from food and convert it to ATP. Remember, ATP is energy. So how is this conversion of food to energy accomplished? Well, you'll be learning, believe me, you'll be learning many steps involved in that process. One sequence of steps is called glycolysis. Take a look at figure 7.7 of the textbook. It shows a bunch of these chemical reactions involved in glycolysis. Where are the enzymes? Well, here they are. They're numbered. There are 10 separate reactions in glycolysis, and each one is done by a separate enzyme. Remember, enzymes are made of protein. Are you consuming the right quantities of protein necessary to keep this whole process working? You probably are on most days, but we don't store protein in our bodies like we do carbohydrates or fats. And so if you don't get the proper combination of proteins and the amino acids that make them up, if you don't get all that in your diet on a daily basis, then you can be deficient sometimes. You don't want to skip meals. You want to eat good things. You want to make sure you get your protein. And every time you eat a meal, I want you to think about what that food is doing for your body. Exercise is good for the body, and you should find something physical that gets your heart rate up, elevated, probably once a day, or at least every couple days. But don't neglect the fact that exercise helps your mental health as well. It generates endorphins, makes you feel good. It physically stimulates the brain, and you can take advantage of that. If you find yourself getting bored or stuck with doing schoolwork, take a break and do something active. Studies show that learning is improved after a bout of exercise. And it can be just a short period of time. It can be 3 to 5 to 10 minutes of exercise, and you still get a really good improvement in your cognitive function immediately after that. Doing exercise for a few minutes before studying or testing increases oxygen delivered to the brain. It increases neurotransmitter function. It changes the cell chemistry in ways that improve performance and information transfer. Here's a quote from a paper that I just encountered. Several cognitive functions associated with learning were improved after an exercise stimulus, such as attention, concentration, working memory, short-term memory, long-term memory, verbal fluency, and capability to plan and solve problems. Holy cow! All of those things were shown in scientific studies in participants who had just completed a little bit of exercise. So, let's go out and do some exercise. You are in the driver's seat. Do what you need to do to be successful in academics and in personal wellness. Sometimes as drivers, we get stuck on the side of the road. There are times when we can fix things ourselves, and at other times, we need the help of others to get us back on our way. In any case, take Boniface swimmers saying forward, always forward, seriously, when it comes to improving your situation. Step on the gas to keep learning more. Tap the brake when you need to take a wellness break. Just keep moving. Best wishes to you as you start up your freshman year at Saint Vincent College.